Hello, Keller Williams. Thank you for joining us today for Contacts, Overview, Setup, and Import with PieSync. I'm Paul Polanski with the KWU team with a big focus on tech training, so I'm always excited to get on Connect Live and talk through our technology. So again, we're going through PieSync today, which is how we're going to be syncing contacts into command. And I know this is a little different than a lot of you are used to getting contacts into a CRM. So I want to make sure that we get all your questions in, and we're going to really focus in on PieSync. But then, after we're finished, if you have any contacts, questions, or anything else, go ahead and put them in, and we can address those questions as we go or at the end. So if you're joining us on Connect Live, you can activate your camera, and you'll basically use the talk button like a walkie-talkie and hold it down, and we can have a conversation around the questions you have. If you're watching on kwconnect.com, there's kind of two ways to do this. If you're not full screen while you're watching this, look off to the right side of the page, and you're going to see a little widget in there where you can actually type in your questions. If you are full screen, pull out that mobile device and go to slido.com. Then you're going to put in the code #1239. That'll connect you to this room, and that's where you can put your questions, your ahas, or just let me know if there's something you want to deep dive on. So with that, let's jump right in. So today, our agenda is we're going to start off with the lead generation model. I want to just kind of talk through that. That really sets up contacts, I think. And then we're going to get into the purpose and benefits of PieSync. We'll look at some resources to look at for, before you actually import. And then we'll look at actually syncing something with PieSync into command, and we'll show you. We'll actually get into command and do this. All right, let's start with the lead generation model, because this is a foundational piece for us. It all starts with prospecting and marketing. So you're going to capture, folks from your prospecting and marketing, and then we get into the database piece, which is really where we're going to focus in today. The big thing to keep in mind with this database piece is that our contacts applet is broken up into two pieces. We have leads and we have contacts. So leads are going to be folks that you capture from your prospecting, your marketing, from word of mouth. And really it's one way. So they've never reached back out to you. You just have a little bit of information about these folks. And again, that's where you're going to put out, offer-based touch programs, try to connect with them. That then brings us to the second piece of contacts, which is contacts. And these are going to be folks, so contacts in your system, these are folks who you have a two-way conversation with. You've connected. Not only have you reached out to them with value, but they've reached back out and have given you intent that they want to learn more. They want what you're offering. And so you're connected. That then leads into the sales pipeline. Once you know that they have intent to do business with you, whether it's a year out, whether they're ready for an appointment now, you can put them into your sales pipeline, which is the opportunities applet in command, and then you can really start tracking. Okay, and we're back. So we had a little sound issue there. Sorry about that. Let's get back on track. The main thing I wanted to talk about, though, was your database is your business, and you got to have a starting place. You got to get contacts into command to get started And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to focus in on PieSync. So everyone's used to the traditional import, where you take a spreadsheet and you have to copy from one spreadsheet to another, and then you import into the system that you're using, and it's tedious, and it's a one-time deal, and it's not very fun. Well, that's why we got in business with PieSync. So PieSync is an online productivity tool, and basically, like you kind of see on the screen here, they're in business with a ton of different, hundreds of apps. Like it could be CRMs, it's Google, it's Apple, it's transaction management systems, it's marketing platforms. They get in business with all of these companies, and we are one of these. And so basically what we're doing is we're hooking up one of these systems to Command, and it's going to actually sync your contacts in. It's the easiest way to get bulk contacts into Command, and the great thing is you can leave it on, and you can set up a two-way sync. Any contact you add to one system will go to the other, and vice versa. And you have total control over this. Not to mention, they do monetize this, but KDB Associates do get preferred pricing when using PieSync. So I actually want to take you, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, and let's talk about the apps that are involved with PieSync and the pricing as well. So first off, if we go, you can go to piesync.com, and you can kind of check them out. You can see the apps that they have. You can see the pricing as well. But if you go to apps, you're going to see everything that they have. Looks like 210 available apps that you can connect to Command. The first thing to keep in mind with the pricing. So you might set up multiple syncs with Command. Maybe you have multiple systems that you have contacts going in and out of that you want to bring into Command. Your biggest and largest app that you connect to Command through PieSync is free. So whatever's the most expensive sync that you have going, that's free. The next thing to keep in mind, if you go on the left side of the page on piesync.com, there are some categories here. And you're going to notice that there's a real estate category. All of these are free to connect with Command. So your biggest and largest sync at any one time is free, and any of these real estate apps that you connect with Command is free as well. Then over and above that, then you can go to their pricing page, and you can see it's based on the number of contacts that you're syncing. So the price goes up based on that. And then, they have a starter and a pro package. The starter package, it's basically setting up 2 basic rules, which we'll go into in a little bit. Or you can pay for the pro package, which, custom field mapping and unlimited rules, and you can just go crazy with it as far as rules and getting really granular with what you want to come into Command. So check this pricing page out, and just also keep in mind that everything after what I talked about is 50% off. So biggest and largest is free, any real estate app is free, and then it's 50% off from there with anything else you connect to Command through PieSync. All right, let's jump back in and let's look at what we're going to be doing here. So basically we're connecting 2 systems, one outside system and then Command. And so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be setting up rules. You can just say sync everything, or you can get really granular and you could say I only want these contacts to go one way or just the other. So you could actually use this as an export from Command if you wanted to. And then you can actually set up custom rules. Let's just get through these slides because I just love actually jumping in the tool and talking through this stuff. And then you're going to be thinking about things. How should duplicates be handled? You're actually going to be able to say which system wins. If you sync Google contacts with Command and there's a discrepancy between 2 contacts that have different information, which system wins out? What if you delete something? What's going to happen in the other system? And then field mapping. We're obviously going to be telling PieSync and the other system, as you're bringing them in, what fields are we matching up in Command? And what should it feed? So we're going to look at that in the tool. But first, I wanted to jump into kwconnect.com real quick. So if we go to kwconnect.com, I want to show you a resource. Because anytime I talk about importing contacts or using PieSync to get contacts in, I always throw the caveat out there that you really want to be purposeful about this. You don't want to just throw everything into command all at once without knowing how it's going to work. You want to make sure and clean up the data from the system that you're coming from. Think about syncing Google Contacts to command. I actually did this when PieSync first came out. It was a mess. If you think about the contacts that are on your phone, this is the same for iCloud contacts. You might just have phone numbers. You might just have a first name and a phone number, a lot of missing information. So you really want to go in and clean up this data before you pull it into command. So with that, we have a guide for you that's going to help you think through some things as you're thinking about transitioning your contacts into command. So go to kwconnect.com. You're going to go to Technology at the top of the page and choose Tech-Enabled Agent from the dropdown. Now, this is a great page to bookmark. This is your one-stop shop for tech training and learning more about command. In this case, though, I'm going to go to General Technology Training here. And, again, several different types of training we can pull. For this example, we're going to go to Downloadable Resources. Now, there's a lot of good stuff in this list. It's not how-to. It's really considerations around things that you're doing in command. It's going to have you look at your business. We're going to go to page 2 for this one. And it's Contacts Overview Setup and Import Guide. Now, if you open it up, click it, and download it, you can actually take notes on this thing. But it's basically what's shown on the slide. So you're going to look at your business, and you're going to talk about goals and pain points in your business, considerations, analyzing your current database, how to prep command. We're going to be talking, there's things that you really need to do before you throw PieSync in the mix, like create your custom fields, create your custom tags, and then, do all your research on PieSync to see what you really want to sync up here. So this is just a good resource. It has more resources linked to this, and it's just a good way to think through this stuff before you transition. And now we're actually going to just jump into the tool. Let's go to command and check this out. So you're going to go to command by going to agent.kw.com. You're going to log in with your KW login credentials, and you're going to get to this home page. Here's what I'll say. I want to talk through the prep real quick because you do want to actually create your custom tags and your custom fields before you start PieSyncing contacts into command. So what I'll do here is we're going to go to Settings, go to your name at the top right of the page, choose Settings, and we're going to go to Command Settings on the left, click Contacts, and now we have 2 pages here that we're going to be working with. The first is Custom Tags. So tags it's one of the best way to organize your database in command. Systems like eEdge and Top Producer call these groups, but we wanted them to be a little more flexible. So we called them tags, and what you're doing is you're applying as many tags as you want to a contact or a lead, and it just helps you organize your database. In the future, we're going to be able to add a tag to a smart plan, and everyone who has that tag is going to be added. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with tags and a lot coming in the future. So what you want to do is just make sure you're on the Contacts tab here, and just start creating your tags. Name it, give it a color code, and that's it. You'll be applying these tags when you're actually using PieSync. The next thing to do is to go to Custom Fields, and this is really important. We're going to be talking about custom mapping from one system to the other. Your custom fields have to be in place before you PieSync to be able to map it to command. So go ahead and come in here, click Create Custom Field, name it, tell us what type of field you want this to be. Is it a text field? Is it a drop down? Is it a percentage, a date? Whatever it is, just create it. And then you can check the Make Default Custom Field box. This is going to make this show up on every new Add Contact form in the future. And really just go and build out your custom fields. The other thing I wanted to call out is if we go to contacts real quick, you're going to notice we talked about leads versus contacts earlier. So contacts look normal. Leads have the little L next to their name. Now, I'm just going to cut this question off at the pass. There's no way to sync your contacts with, or no way to sync leads with command through PieSync. So everything that you're bringing in through PieSync or the traditional import are going to come in as contacts. Now, that can be problematic because maybe you're syncing in leads and you want to mark clearly. Just keep in mind that once they sync, you're going to be able to, you can customize these columns, but you're going to notice a created field. So you can actually come in here after you've synced your contacts, sort your list by created, and once you see all of those contacts that you just synced over into command, once you get them up on the screen, you can just select all. You can select a couple contacts at a time, and you can actually mark all of them as leads. So if you are bringing leads in through PieSync, bring them in as contacts, and then you can come in and use the bulk action to mark them all as leads once they're in. All right. So now that we've kind of set that up, let's actually look at how to use PieSync with command, because you don't actually have to leave command to do it. So we're going to go back to settings now. And when you get to settings, for the default page that shows up is our connected applications page. PieSync is on this list. So if we scroll down, we're going to see PieSync here, and we'll have to click Connect Account. And we'll just let it load up for just a second. And the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to tell command what system we want to bring contacts in from. And again, we're going to do it one at a time. You'll be able to circle back around and add more as you go, but we'll just focus in on one. So I'm going to use Google Contacts because it's a simple one. It's one that a lot of people use. But again, you'll see all of these apps on the list that you could connect. So we're going to choose Google Contacts. Now, the next thing that we have to do is we have to choose an account. The first time, you'll just add a new account. In this case, we already had an account added, but it's just going to have you log in and sync it to command. So once you get your Google account or whatever account you're syncing hooked in here and you get your password entered, now we're going to click Configure the Sync. And we get our options. So let's take this one section at a time to learn how to actually PieSync. So the first thing to keep in mind is we can set up a two-way sync. We can set up a one-way sync. So now we need to tell it which way we want this to go. So I could click the arrow to say, just take contacts from Google and take them into command, or vice versa, or I can tell it to be a two-way situation. Step 2 is our connection rules. Now, one of the other things that I like to tell people is, especially with PieSync, because again, I did my Google Contacts when this first came out just to test it, and they came in very messy. So something that you can do here, you can just leave it alone if you want, and it'll just bring everything. That's already set up for you. But you can actually filter this so that you can be really purposeful with the contacts that you're syncing. So I can go in here and I can say, okay, if a contact is in Google Contacts, now we click Add Filter. We can say, choose a condition. So only bring in Google Contacts that have a label, or only if they have a phone number, or only if they have, there's a whole list of things that you have. Maybe they don't have a label. And so what I tell people is, I always put your contacts into command, especially if it's the first time, group by group, tag by tag, whatever it is. Take a small subset of your contacts and bring them over. And one way you can do this is by doing it by label. So go apply some labels in Google Contacts, say anything that has a label, bring it over. and you can be really purposeful with what you bring into command. You can actually add actions as well. So once you sync it, we can click add action. We can say, okay, add a tag, use a lead source, give it a preferred method of contact. So, after it syncs in, what do you want command to do? And again, this is going to pull in your usernames for social media. It'll pull in your custom fields. Whatever it is, you can tell it what to do once it gets into command. And you can click this minus sign if you want to remove any of these filters or actions. Okay, now we get to the next section, and this is connection settings. Now this is going to be a little different based on the app that you're connecting to command, but in this case, we have, another thing to keep in mind. The only duplicate check we have in command is the email address. So if you have two contacts with the same name but different email addresses, the system's not going to catch that, and it will create duplicates. And we don't have a merge feature yet. So you want to be purposeful about this using the email address to really catch your duplicates. So we automatically check only sync contacts that have an email address. I believe you can contact PieSync and have them remove that option manually if you want to bring contacts in, but you would have to reach out to PieSync about that. Or with Google, we also have additional options. Sync contacts to the main contacts folder in Google. And that's pushing from command to Google. And then we get to this big section that we talked about earlier. What if the two systems that we're setting up a two-way sync for have two contacts with differing information in them? So now you're going to choose which one wins. Use the value from Google, use the value from command. Just tell us what option you want to use there and what you want, what system should win if there's ever a clash of similar information. Okay, and again, these rules are going to change depending on what you're syncing to command. And then finally, we get into field mapping. Now, PieSync has done the work here, and all of these systems that they've hooked into their system, they've gone in and identified the big fields involved. So they've gone into Google, and they know the big fields. And then they know command as well. So they're going to match up middle names with middle names and prefixes with prefixes. So the first thing, this list is already curated for you. It's there by default. What you can do is you can actually turn some of these off. Maybe you don't want the job title to come over. Or maybe you don't want the suffix. Whatever it is, you can use these toggle buttons to turn these off if you don't want that information to go to one system or the other. And then we get into custom fields. So this is where we needed to have created those custom fields. We can click Add Field Mapping. We can choose a custom field from Google, and then we can choose a custom field from command as well. And that's why it's important to have created them before you do this. So again, what I'm choosing here doesn't really make sense, but you get what I'm saying is you can map your custom fields together. And that's it. So once you do your field mapping, you can either click Save for Later if there's something you want to prep first, or just click Start Syncing Now. If you click Start Syncing Now, it's going to kick off, it's going to start working with PieSync to start pulling them in. You're probably going to want to give it an hour or so. It depends on how many contacts you have, but they're not just going to pop in immediately. You want to give it time to let the system work the contacts into command and vice versa. And that's it. And actually, give me 1 second. I wanted to just real quick show you. Once you have one connected, you'll then have a disconnect account option or show details. If you click show details, it gives you the option to connect more. So this is where you can start syncing multiple systems into command. And you have the option to disconnect specific syncs that you have set up. So one thing you could do, maybe you just want this to import, but you don't want them to sync constantly. turn it on, let them sync all the way in, and then click disconnect. And you can actually do that over and over again, sync all the contacts with command or vice versa, turn them off one at a time, and it's all free. You get that one free sync. So just throwing it out there that you can do that. Now, we did have a question. Is Excel one of the options to sync from? And so what we're going to see, and this is from Anonymous. Let me go back to our screen here. Bear with me one second. We're going to go to PieSync. So if we actually look at the apps that we have in here, you're not going to, so you see Microsoft Exchange, but what you're not going to see, I don't believe, is Excel or anything like that. Really, we're just syncing with specific companies. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down, making sure that I'm not wrong on this. But yeah, okay. So there's actually a different workflow if you wanted to bring in contacts from, and it wouldn't even really be Excel. It would have to be an internet-based version of Excel. But I can tell you that if you had a Google Sheet, so which is like the Google equivalent of Microsoft Excel, you could actually use another system to do this. And I'm kind of going off the script here, because we're outside of PieSync at this point. If you go to Zapier.com, that's Zapier.com, it's kind of a similar situation, except it's more of a lead capture workflow. So you could actually create a Google form, which is attached to a Google Sheet, and you can actually say, anyone that I add to this Google Sheet, bring them into command as a lead. And what you do is Zapier, in the same way PieSync is, they're in business with a bunch of different applets or apps, including Google Sheets. You set up the connection between Google Sheets and command, set up your rules, and you can actually start bringing in those leads into command that way. You just use Zapier. And I believe with Zapier, you can do 5 zaps for free. But they have a pricing page here that you can check out. Okay. Okay, where can I find the info about the free PieSync and when I have to pay? So it's not on their site because their site is more generic for everyone. So you're going to see their general pricing. What you can do, though, let me go back to command. So when we're in command, you can actually go to the question mark icon at the top right of the page. And this is actually cool. I was going to go into this in just a second, but we'll jump right in. If you ever need help in command, want to learn more about something, the first place to go is Keller Williams University here. We actually built in our knowledge base into command here. So if you click or type in PieSync in the search, you're going to get, we have an article for sync your contacts with PieSync. It's going to actually go through everything that we talked about. There's more information on the pricing, and it actually shows you the workflow that we talked about. There's a video as well. So check out this article. It goes into more details. And notice that when we synced through command, that they never said enter your credit card or anything like that. That's because they're recognizing the free sync and everything else. As you start adding more syncs, and when it would be time to pay, you're going to start getting a pop-up that's going to tell you to actually create a PieSync account and enter your credit card information. So it'll prompt you when it's time to pay as you're using this through to command. But use that help article, and that should get you the info that you need. You can always reach out if you want. Go to the question mark and go to chat with support as well. And we can get you in touch with the support team where they can give you more information too. And when you click that, there's an option to actually chat with support, and you could live chat with them and get your questions answered that way. Okay, jumping right back into our slides. So this is where we wanted to talk to you about getting help using the question mark. We did that. Oh, I have one more thing I want to show you. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. Just bear with me. When you go to PieSync.com, if you don't see, if you're like, man, I really wish we could sync with this system or that system. If it's not on this list that we see on the apps page on PieSync.com, you can scroll to the very bottom. You'll see the things that are launching soon. You'll see what they're investigating as well. And if you click Show All Investigating, I believe we go all the way down to the bottom here. There's a lot that they're investigating. But at the very bottom of the page, you can actually email PieSync and request something. So tell them what you want to be able to connect through PieSync. They'll start investigating it. And then if they develop that relationship, they'll throw it in there and it'll become an app that we can connect with. So just wanted to throw that out there, that it's kind of like a lab situation for PieSync that you can use to request new things. Okay, going back to our slides, we talked about getting help in command. All right, I'd love to hear from you. This is a great time to put any last minute questions. If there's anything you want to, if you have questions on all of command, go ahead. But I also want to know what your ahas are from this session. Is this something you knew about previously? Did the light bulb come on about something from this session? Let me know. Put it in the questions area, and we'll talk through it. So we do have some action steps for you. You watched this, you learned how to PieSync, you know how to get the step-by-step help to reference as you're continuing on with this. So come up with a plan for transitioning into contacts. Use that downloadable resource we showed you earlier to help you think through that plan. Clean up your database before you sync over. So go into Google and make sure that your contact list is clean and ready to go. Prepare command. So remember, that's creating custom tags. That's creating custom fields. And just getting that all ready. And then actually sync your contacts. Try it out. Maybe just sync one group over at a time to make sure it's working correctly. And then share labs feedback as well. So if you go to that question mark, we have post an idea that you can use. If there's something with this or any other thing that you see in command, if there's a way that you think we can make it better, let us know. You can also go to ideas.kw.com directly and not only put your ideas in, but you can also vote on ideas that other agents have added as well. All right, don't forget, family reunion is right around the corner. What are we, like 10 days away? So something like that. So February 15th through the 18th, it's in Dallas this year. It's going to be great. We got a lot of big announcements. We're going to have a lot of fun going through tech, and that's my favorite part, is being able to talk about tech with agents. But if you are missing family reunion, don't forget that if you go to kwconnect.com, we'll be live streaming the really big sessions. So, you could even, set up a class in your market center to see the big stage sessions with Gary and Josh and everybody else. All right, and that's it. So I don't see any questions coming through. So y'all have a great rest of your day and a great week as well. We'll see y'all later.